Welcome to our channel, Gray Matters. We are two neurodivergent ladies who fixate and need to share, and we've created this channel to do just that. Check out our podcast, Fixate Today, Gone Tomorrow, for some deeper dives. Let's talk about South Carolina divorce laws. In South Carolina, there are 5 grounds for divorce, 4 of which are for a fault divorce. Those 4 grounds are adultery, habitual drunkenness, abandonment, and physical cruelty. In South Carolina, verbal or emotional abuse are not recognized as grounds for divorce. The 5th ground for divorce is a no-fault divorce. Under a no-fault divorce, the divorcing parties must live separate and apart for at least 1 year. Let's get into this a bit more. From the South Carolina Bar Association, mental abuse and cruelty is not basis for divorce. Family court judges have jurisdiction over divorce. This includes separations, child custody, visitation, child and spousal support, division of marital property, including retirement and pensions. Divorce can be handled as a separate case, meaning one spouse requesting to divorce another, or as part of an action that includes separate maintenance and support. Separation requirements must be fulfilled, or grounds for divorce must be proven. Divorce starts when one spouse or their attorney files a summons and complaint. In this, the grounds for divorce is stated, the wishes for the filer in terms of separating assets and debts is laid out, as well as custody, visitation, support. In this, the filer is considered the plaintiff. The other spouse is then served with a copy of the summons and complaint and has 30 days to file an answer, which is a response to allegations and how he or she wants to address the case. There is only one hearing in a divorce case, and it is the final divorce hearing. The hearing is 15 minutes, and it determines whether requirements for the divorce have been met. Third-party witnesses are required to corroborate any testimony of parties saying that grounds have been met. South Carolina is an equitable division state, meaning a judge determines how property will be split. Basic requirements of acquiring a divorce are laid out in Title 20, Chapter 3 of the South Carolina Code of Laws. Parties must have lived in South Carolina for at least 1 year before filing. A non-resident must have been in the state for 3 months. Parties must be deemed of age for having property rights. This means 18 years old to marry or 16 years old to marry with approval from a parent or guardian. It should also be noted that the age of consent in South Carolina is 16. No divorce judgment will be made without proof of an attempt at reconciliation. The exception to this is when one party is serving overseas in the military. People who interfere with reconciliation efforts could be named in court. There will be no alimony for the spouse found committing adultery. Consideration for alimony include the length of the marriage, physical and emotional state of each spouse, earning potential, living standard established during the marriage, anticipated earnings and expenses, custody of children, marital misconduct or fault, whether the basis of the divorce or not, and support obligation of prior marriages. Payments of alimony end upon death of either party, cohabitation with a new partner, or remarriage by the party receiving support. Payments may also end if the court finds any romantic relationship of at least 90 days. If a marriage ends due to fraud, the party committing the fraud is not exempt from alimony, a former name at the final divorce judgment or order of separate maintenance. In South Carolina, it is unlawful to advertise assistance in obtaining a divorce. That's how much divorce is frowned upon in South Carolina. Marital property is defined as property acquired by parties during the marriage. Non-marital property includes inheritance and gifts acquired before the marriage. It is unclear how separated parties determine what is marital property and what is non-marital property. This is a basic overview of how difficult South Carolina laws make it to get a divorce. Parties in abusive situations will find it incredibly difficult to even find an attorney to help them file for divorce and break free from an abusive spouse. South Carolina has made it incredibly difficult for people to escape abusive spouses, and we saw Mica reaching out for help over and over in an attempt to leave her spouse and getting caught up in all the legalities of escape.